Thanks for tuning in to my brand new Minecraft series. After a long hiatus, I'm ready to jump into more blocky action with 101 new ideas. Thanks for rocking with me all year long and enjoy the series. So I've gotten back in the mood for building because I've had enough adventuring and the destruction of illagers for a while, and I want to put to use these over here that I've accumulated quite a bit of. Not a ton, but quite a bit. The diorite, granite, and andesite. That is the materials that we're going to use for the lighthouse. My name is Brian, a.k.a. Kenny, a.k.a. the Fishmaster, a.k.a. the #1 person to exist on your TV, tablet, mobile device. Your retinas are being burned in with the image of me as we speak until you click or tap away. Now you may say, Brian, you don't need just one andesite, one diorite, and one granite. Well, that's because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop into creative mode and actually make this thing happen because saving time. I'm not going to expedite the creative mode thing. I'm just going to, talk because the lighthouse is not going to be that crazy big. And hey, just tell little stories about life. I don't know, whatever comes to mind here. So pretend I just mined for 7,000 hours and got all this diorite, and oh wow, so what a creative effort. All right, cool. So we have our area over here. So this is where the dock is going to be. There's going to be a whole pathway going right over toward this way. The dock is over this way. Potentially a pirate ship would be bam right here. Don't ask me how I'm going to pull that off. I tried experimenting with styles. I don't know. But for now, the lighthouse is going to go probably like right here, because the lighthouse isn't necessarily right next to the dock or anything like that. It's kind of in the relative area, and it's definitely not on top of a hill this high. I mean, actually, it could be. Charles, is a lighthouse on a hill typically? Kind of, yeah. I could put it right here. Do I want to put it right here? We'll see. All right, well, let me get a water bucket here. I'm basing these off of, obviously, me being in the New England area. There's tons of lighthouses everywhere, so it's not necessarily a hard thing to come by here. So I'm going to clear out. I'll show you the mentality that I kind of have when it comes to building things when you see the expedited process here. So if I use the Easy Miner 5000 at a later time, I guess, I'm going to clear out this top area here and basically make it so the lighthouse is big enough that you could potentially live in it, because that is a thing that has happened many years ago. People would live inside of a lighthouse. Some rich, fancy people might do that nowadays, but it's less common considering getting Wi-Fi and electricity to a lighthouse is kind of unfeasible, but you could pull it off, I guess, if you really wanted to. Lighthouses in the area that I'm at can be anywhere from a Revere, Winthrop, Gloucester, Nottingham, where else? Where else are lighthouses? Not Lynn, not Marblehead. Where's like a lighthouse? Cape Cod, obviously.
Cape Cod,
New Bedford, yeah, lots. There's one in New Bedford? Where?
Well, it used to be an old whaling
Oh.
town.
Really? It was a whaling town? Oh, interesting. All right, well, I'm learning new things over here. Charles is playing Subnautica. I'm doing this. So, the power of video games uniting us on all fronts this evening. But yeah, so a lot of the time they're up higher because, way back, obviously Gloucester, which is kind of what I'm basing this idea off of. Way back in the day, you would use a lighthouse to find your way home when you were out fishing for many weeks, days, months on end. Because once you go out fishing for like king crab or cod or anything like that, it's quite the excursion. You're going to be away from your friends, family, children, etc. for quite some time. And, you got to be careful while you're out there, even though you're not really safe. It's not a safe thing to go and do. There's actually an entire wall dedicated in Gloucester to all the fishermen who have unfortunately not been able to come back home because of how dangerous fishing is as a concept. You would think that being on a boat that's the size of like 3 of your houses put together would necessarily make you safe, but no. The sea is very, very rough, and you can barely see anything anywhere, which is why lighthouses are a thing. So when the light is shining from the lighthouse at night, then you can obviously find your way home on a foggy night, especially if it's snowing in the New England area. So that's relatively what the function of this would be. Obviously, making a lighthouse on land is kind of pointless, so we're not going to do that. So the lighthouse that I'm kind of basing this off of is not one in particular that I'm not fond of any specifically, just as a relative base for lighthouses in general, I guess is what I'm going with here. So, and I'll work to make this look a bit more natural eventually, but for right now, this is fine. So it's not going to be incredibly high on a footprint either, but it's going to be circular. So it's going to be a layer of the, what's that? Diorite, granite, diorite, and then andesite. So basically, this is the pattern here. So it's going to be a big layer of this, big layer of that, and then that's going to be the very top. Glowstone is going to be at the very top in order to shine the light, obviously. So let's get our footprint here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go with this. We definitely want to make this circular, akin to the snow globe that we've done before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. All right, cool. So that's a pretty, good size for a lighthouse. It's going to be fairly tall. I don't think it'll be the tallest thing we've ever done in Minecraft, but it's going to be tall enough here. And the shaping of this can be very easy or very difficult depending on what you want to do. You would typically use a white concrete to make this happen. You can make it be white, then red, then white, which is typically how it goes, but for the sake of using up some resources here, I'm going to go with just this right here. Lighthouses can be all sorts of different colors and all different sorts of shapes. There can be, houses on the side of this, so there can be like a little house in addition to this thing here. We're not going to do that. It's just literally going to be a lighthouse. And the curvature here is interesting. So it's a lighthouse kind of goes in like a cylinder. It's kind of like this, but ever so slightly. The angle is very slight, and obviously in Minecraft you can't really pull that off. So what I want to do is kind of like this. If I manage to make it look kind of cylindrical. Is that a word, Charles? Cylindrical? Okay, good. That's an actual word. I don't want to miseducate the young ones watching. All right, let's get this up this way. So it's going to be 5 high, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I can make stairs, right? If I go... Oh, I can. All right, well, that's diorite, polished diorite. I don't know if I want to do that. But let's say we go with this here. Kind of make the transition less, abrasive here. So now you're kind of getting the idea of what I typically do when I do builds like this. So it's a very peaceful process here, so bear with me while I try to visualize what I'm doing here. It's not always the most exciting thing. Basically, imagine I'm Bob Ross, right? I'm just building away in Minecraft, doing the little thing in the thing. All right, so there we go. All around the sides there. So now it's a bit less abrupt of a change, I guess. But I don't know if that's going to get the shape that I want to. We'll see in just a second here. So we'll fill everything out. And yeah, you'll get the idea in a second here. Now, the very top is not going to be the same length, or rather height, that we have had before. It's going to be a little bit shorter, but you'll see what I mean in a second here. So I don't know if I've actually ever been to a lighthouse, which is kind of surprising. Charles, that's probably something we should do this summertime. Next time we go to Gloucester is actually go to a lighthouse. I know you've offered to bring us to one before, but I have yet to accept that offer. My apologies. But, that happens sometimes, I guess. And nothing we can really do about this. So what I really wanted to do was make this block up here right there. I don't think that's going to be possible the way that Minecraft works. So whatever. We're just going to leave that like that for now. And now let's get these granite stairs. And keep in mind, I could have, in theory, gone all this way to make all this granite happen and do this whole thing, make it as articulate with, you know, all the different stacks and tried to make it by hand. It would have taken a whole lot longer. And I'm actually already liking the look of this a lot. So we're going to go up toward this way. Usually with a lighthouse, they are not the most vibrant things unless they are repainted, and that's because of the ocean air. The ocean air can totally take apart the color of any sort of building that's there, which is why if you look at the sea towns in Massachusetts, a lot of them, the shingles on the outside are very decrepit or, need to be updated relatively frequently. Not that they are, but that's the idea behind that as well. So the shape, it's ever so slight. So we're going to go just this high right here. And basically what we're going to do by the end of it is make one giant ladder going all the way up. Now, if you get really fancy, you want to get very, very fancy with it, you will make a spiral staircase going all the way to the top. I can't say I'm going to be doing that because that takes a lot of effort and ain't nobody got time for that. But that's what you're going to work with there. It's not just one color the whole way through. So one more layer of that should do it. And there we go. So that's starting to look just like a lighthouse. Charles, that look like a lighthouse to you? You'll be able to tell? Yeah, there you go. Not in your head. Yeah, all right. I like it. All right, so now for the very top layer. This is all going to be covered up. We'll change it eventually here. It's taking a lot less time than I thought. But you know what? That's fine. That's what creative mode kind of helps with here. And I guess I'll see if I can remember to edit in a picture of the lighthouse. Maybe beneath me or above me. I don't know. Show you what I'm working with here. So the three colors here are meant to like reflect the wear and tear. So that's supposed to be like the white, red, black that a lighthouse typically is. So that's the idea. The andesite, we're going to go with the andesite stairs here. I'm going to try to... I'm going to try to make this... I got the image pulled up right here, kind of what I want to do. You know, I'm going to replace this and do this up this way. Yeah, there we go. So now, all along the sides here, it's actually going to work a bit better. And now, this is your lesson in stairs as well, ladies and gentlemen. So if you place a stair down here, it'll be different as if you place it in the top half. So it doesn't necessarily matter your angle that you place it at, but just like which top portion of the block you're going to start with there. So if you do that on a corner, it'll automatically turn into that corner piece right there. So that's really what you want to do. And this is looking like the best lighthouse I've ever done. Very proud of myself. All right, let's continue. And so there is a kind of like this guardrail around the edge there. Typically, you'd go with iron bars. So I can probably toss out some iron to make do for the iron bars that we're using here. So let's say we go do all this right. It's going to be pretty fairly functional overall. You know, the light is definitely going to come from here. It's going to be a whole big thing. So, we can make it like a staircase. We don't need to go to the very top of it, but just enough to the top of it. So, this is the walkable area around here. So if I were to walk up here, this would be only what we're working with here. So if I'm basing it off of the lighthouse, which is the Sancadie Head Lighthouse in somewhere, New England. Basically what I'm basing it off of here. We'll go with another layer up here. And you really want to encompass the glowstone, which we'll grab right here. Encompass that glowstone in some glass, as any good lighthouse would be. You don't need a ton of glowstone. It'll generate just about the same amount of light regardless of what you do, so don't worry about that. You can place one right there, and you'll be fine. So let's just pop this all along here. You can even make it too high if you wanted to, or just cover the glass just like that. So that's what we're working with so far. All right, not too shabby. All right, so now let's get the top layer on here. And you'll be able to spot this from a mile away. If we're walking or, driving the boat from over there, you'll be able to see that no problem. So let's go make this second layer right here. It's not meant to be comfortable, by the way. It's not meant to be like a walkway, like how you do a house or anything like that. With a building like this, it's supposed to be for utilitarian purposes only. You're not really going to do massive tours of a lighthouse, specifically for recreational purposes. It's going to be function over anything else. So the fact that you can't walk easy breezy on top of it is not that big of an issue. I messed up right there. Let's do this. And boom, there we go. Cool. So that's the very top of that right there. We're going to go with some iron bars for the very top. And I'd say that looks pretty remarkably close to the lighthouse that I'm kind of envisioning here. We got some iron bars all throughout this side. It's going to connect to the glass, but that's, just a product of what's going to happen here. And I would say that looks pretty stellar. Charles, can I get a second opinion here real quick? I know you're busy in Subnautica, but if you had to look at these two lighthouses right here, I'd say it looks pretty good. Right? Yeah.
If I might butt in.
Oh, you're going to want to butt in on something. What do you want to say, man?
So, old lighthouses.
Old lighthouses, yes.
OG lighthouses
The-
were
yep.
lived in year-round.
They were lived in year-round for those lighthouses, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is not,
Okay.
Depending on what you're going
Let
for, you
me
might wanna
see.
build a small house.
All right. Well, this one doesn't have a house specifically, the one that I'm basing it off of here, but I'm willing to decorate the inside with things to make it into at least a usable Minecraft house. I would say that's a doable thing here. I will go with a dark oak door for the very front. And yeah, I have all of these types of wood as well. I know I'm drawing here from creative mode, but I know I have all these things regardless. I'm going to make the inside this andesite here. Let's just take all this out, and I'll plop glowstone in here for the sake of keeping things lit. But there are not any windows. Well, there are windows. I'm totally messing with you there. You can see windows on the image. So let me fix that real quick. So I'll add some windows, provided that they are on all sides. Then I'll kind of improvise on what I should do here. Some good spotting out, Charles. You did a good job on that one. I would have looked at that and called it a day, but you know the content and the quality better than that, man. I appreciate it. So let's go. Is that? No, that's not what I need to do. The actual entryway is right here, technically. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I guess this is fine. If I have this, like, a ladder going all the way this way, that's fine, right? I'd say if I just make it all blend in like this. So let's say now it goes down here. There we go. All right, so the things that you need to accommodate to a house. Well, first of all, it's got some glass panes going on in here. Gonna make a couple of small windows here. Two of them are located, at least in this image here. One is located right here. Another one on this side. Let's say another one is over here. One is down here. That way we can actually look out onto the ocean. I'll make this 3 wide, because why not? We'll include... that's a pretty good basis right there, right? We'll plug this one up. I'll put one right over here. Right on top. Boom. You know, get some natural light in here. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let's grab some ladders, baby. All right. Bam. And now we're going all the way up. Again, you want to... ideally, you make a spiral staircase if you want to be fancy, but, you know, that's not how I typically roll. You should know that by now. Torching it up. And now we can really get rid of this stuff here. I know I just got rid of that. Oops. That stuff I'm keeping because that was actually a part of my inventory. Basically, everything that I didn't start with, I'm chucking right now just so I can stay organized, right? I did start with those, but whatever. It's one piece of andesite and whatnot. We'll go with a red bed and then a crafting table. Also need to have a furnace. And then a chest as the bare necessities. That is always what I go for. You have to have the absolute bare minimum here. We're going to keep the tall ceilings here. Again, this is just for utility purposes. We'll go with the bed as right over... Now we'll go right over here. All right. Keep the workstation and the actual, living quarters a little bit separate here. What else could I add? Actually, carpet. I haven't done a lot of carpet here, which carpet can be crafted, and we do have the materials to do that as well. So if I look at the carpet here, let's see if I can figure out... Can I figure out what makes what here? I don't know if I can from right in this location here. Let me look up real quick how to make carpet, or rather, what dye we need specifically. Because you can make carpet just out of 3 pieces of wool. So if I had 2 pieces of red wool, then I'm good. So the colored dye that we need to get for red is the poppy, rosebush, red tulip, or beetroot, all of which we have. So I don't feel as bad using this right now. So we're going to make this all red on the bottom right here. Again, just pretend that I, did all of this already. It's a whole big thing here. You can't use carpet on there, unfortunately, but that's just typically how it goes. And there you go. Now your feet are all nice and cozy. Okay, what else could we possibly need inside of here other than torches, I guess? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to decorate the back of this. I'm going to use this as a light source right here, so it's going to bounce all throughout there. We'll illuminate this. We'll go here. That way you can actually see up top there. And that should be plenty of light in general. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a frame up, an item frame. And I'm going to put a fishing rod. I'm not going to put the fishing rod that we know as the best fishing rod ever, the Gloucester's Glory. But we're just going to put a fishing rod right here. That way... it would work, right? There we go. I'll put a second one here, just cause, And something I haven't made before that I'm not going to do. I was going to do a photo, but nah, cool. Well, I would say this is pretty good for a lighthouse. We can wait until it's actually nighttime. That way we can see it from the outside, but that's pretty sick. It's pretty good, So I'll show you what it looks like at night. So now imagine you're out at sea for like 3 months and you see this shining beacon of light as your one ticket to get home, and that'd be pretty awesome to see your wife, kids, or friends back home. So this is the lighthouse as it is at night. Obviously doesn't compare to the giant cube, but as a monument right here, it's great. Eventually, I'll create a pathway. Actually, that works really perfectly. So if the pathway from the town goes this way, then I can have some nice cobblestone steps going right up toward here. Well, that was a very nice idea, Charles, having that lighthouse be up on a hill. Great idea you had there, man. Not that you're on camera to share it with the people. It's fine. So I'm going to do probably a little house or something down here. Maybe obviously the dock this way, a ship eventually. But that's a very good step toward making a small little fishing area right here. So yeah, I want to thank you guys and girls for listening, watching, tuning in, meowing it out with me as always. My name is Brian Saviano, aka the #1 fishing master in the galaxy, O'Brien. I'll see you again next time for more Minecraft soon. Peace out. Bye.